My name is John Stacer, and I am the President and Executive Director of Historic Madison Incorporated, and the Schroeder Saddletree Factory Museum is one of our museum properties here in downtown Madison. A saddletree is the internal wooden skeleton of a riding saddle. And so you can't have a saddle or a rodeo without a saddle tree. So this is where all the business end of the saddle starts, with the manufacture of a wooden internal frame of the saddle. Well, Ben Schroeder started his saddletree factory here in 1878, and it was one of 12 saddletree factories in Madison, Indiana in the late 19th century. Madison was the Detroit of the saddletree trade. We think that there were a lot of saddletree factories in Madison because there were big factories making saddles both up in Cincinnati and in Louisville. And Madison is smack dab in the middle on the Ohio River, just a couple-hour boat ride away from either town. The Schroeders, we know, made saddle trees that went into rodeo saddles at some point. We're not really quite sure who rode on those saddles, but we know that they were making saddle trees for saddle makers that were selling them to rodeo riders. We have postcards that talk about, I need another tree for a rodeo rider. So the connection between the Schroeder Museum and the Schroeder business and rodeos is very direct, and so it's a great historical connection, and we're so thrilled to be part of the Wild West Rodeo here in Madison. Our tour schedule is on our website, www.historicmadisoninc.com. It's also available for special groups and events if there's somebody that's interested in coming down and bringing a tour bus load of people to see the place. We'd love to have rodeo cowboys come here. We've had saddle makers. We've had a saddle tree maker from New Zealand come and visit the site. Because there are modern saddle trees being made today. They're mostly made out of injection molded plastics. The Schroeder Museum is unique in the United States because it's the last of its kind. It's the last of the 19th century saddle tree factories in the U.S. But when the Schroeders went out of business in 1972, everything was left behind, frozen in place. So the original machines, tools, even some of the sawdust and the parts and pieces they were working on their last days in production were still in the factory when we did the restoration. It was really amazing, like King Tut's tomb. The rodeo has just been a great partner for us. They started last year and they are supporting us financially, so we are the charity of choice. And they're helping us with all sorts of things here, including installing Wi-Fi. And our dreams include doing 3D scanning of the factory and also the artifacts, because it's a unique collection of artifacts. And 3D scanning is one way to preserve and capture the history here at the site that doesn't exist anywhere else. You use the word factory and it sounds large. It's a very small place, but they'll see the woodworking shop with all the original tools, the belt-powered equipment that the Schroeders used to make saddle trees, and other products like clothespins and lawn furniture and hames and stirrups. They'll also see the assembly shop and blacksmith shop where the parts and pieces of saddle trees were put together. And they'll also get to walk through the family home, which we've turned into a museum, where they'll get to learn a little bit more about the Schroeder family, the different products that were made, and get to see some of the different types of saddle trees and saddles that were built on them. The tours generally last about 45 minutes to an hour, depending upon interest, and the cost is $10 per person. Students are free of charge and always have been at our Historic Madison properties. We have lots of volunteer opportunities here, and we're always looking for new people to help us lead tours, people who have a friendly, outgoing disposition and who just love talking about the history of the site. It's really an infectious place. Donations are deeply appreciated. We are a nonprofit organization, so they are tax deductible to the extent provided under law. And they can go to our website and press the donate button, and they can make a credit card charge. They can send us a check to 301 West 2nd Street in Madison, Indiana, 47250. Or if they want to talk about something that they want to donate that's in addition to cash, give us a call at 812-265-2967.